The following clip is about a man named Nick, who manages a yogurt store and, for a long time, dismissed the strange stories his staff kept telling him. Employees had complained about lights flickering, objects shifting when no one was nearby, and an uneasy feeling that only seemed to happen during closing hours. At first, Nick assumed there had to be logical explanations, faulty wiring, building issues, or simple human error. But eventually, he experienced the same thing. Watch.
Okay, I'm literally at work right now. I'm alone. That's my car. There is not one other car in the parking lot. Look, the freaking light's flickering from the reflection in the window. I don't know what's going on. I'm here alone, and this is what I deal with that I usually don't catch on camera. This is the light switch. Ready? This? Oh, I think I stopped it. Did I stop it? No, I didn't. I didn't stop it. I don't know what's going on, and this makes absolutely no sense. And now it stopped. Good. And ready? Here we go. Because that makes sense, right? This is what I deal with, and no one understands. And of course I'm here alone, and this is like a friggin' murder house. This is my security cameras. There's no one here, so I don't understand. Oh my god, Jesus Christ. Hello?
At first glance, many people assumed it was nothing more than electrical problems. After all, flickering lights in older buildings aren't uncommon, but power shortages don't explain everything, because moments later, a chair suddenly falls over on its own in the attic. Nick later revealed something even more unsettling. Before he started recording, he heard what sounded like a girl singing somewhere inside the building, and according to him, this wasn't the first time. Several employees had mentioned hearing the same thing, soft singing late at night, always when the store was nearly empty. There was also another detail that people couldn't ignore. The neighboring store right next to them had recently gone out of business. The space had been empty ever since. Dark, silent, unused, and yet some began to wonder if whatever energy lingered there had simply moved next door. At this point, people were curious, but not fully convinced. Many chose to wait for more evidence, and then it happened again. One evening, as Nick and his staff were preparing to leave, thinking the night had been quiet, the camera captured something else.
Okay guys, we were literally just about to leave my store when shit just started flickering again. This is the second time it's happened. My car's over there, and
I'm shaking right now.
okay, and her keys are in the fucking bag.
We need to go. We need to go get my keys.
And the light turned on.
I don't want to go.
Okay, well, I'm gonna literally record this whole thing just so you guys can see what happened. I'm literally so scared. Okay, okay, something. The bathroom light's on too.
What's this like? Bro, why are my keys on the floor? They were not there. Like I did, I just put them on the desk. Like, oh my god.
This is literally insane.
If you look closely, a topping lid suddenly flies off the counter, like something physically knocked it away. And almost immediately after that, the lights they had just turned off began flickering again, as if something inside the darkness was moving through the store. This was the moment people stopped blaming electricity. Because faulty wiring can cause flickering, but it can't remove lids, it can't target objects, and it certainly can't create the feeling that something is active only when the building is empty. That detail became especially disturbing, the fact that all of this only ever happened at night. Some viewers began speculating that it could be what paranormal researchers call a residual spirit, energy left behind by someone who once spent a lot of time in that place. Residual hauntings often repeat certain behaviors, moving through familiar areas, making familiar sounds, sometimes even singing. Others believed it might be something more aware. And then came the moment that disturbed people the most. One night, while Nick was inside recording again, something happened that was impossible to ignore. Watch.
Okay guys, we've been sitting in the back for like 20 minutes now, and we're just watching the cameras, and stuff is still flickering and going on, but nothing happened back here, and we need to go home, and this is so freaking terrifying.
We're 50 minutes past our shift because of this shit.
We closed at 10, so we need to like, it's so dark because all the light switches are over here.
Stop it, go, fuck, go.
Okay, this is what I mean. This room is over. This is.
Oh my god.
This is what we're dealing with.
Oh my god, yo, what the Bro, Nick, did you do this on purpose?
I-
Did you fake this? No, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you, Nick.
Stop! You're literally. Are you?
No, wait, no. Nah.
No.
That's just
We literally looked away for like 2 seconds.
Walking, 'cause, like, what?
From the darkness, something is suddenly thrown in his direction, like something didn't want him there. Nick and his staff quickly left, shaken and trying to process what just happened. But seconds later, when they looked back, they saw the lights moving inside again. Some believe this could be what's known as a poltergeist, an entity known not just for appearing, but for interacting physically with the environment. Poltergeists are often associated with thrown objects, sudden movement, and escalating aggression. Unlike residual energy, they don't simply replay the past, they react, and sometimes they target. Others believe it could be something attached to the building itself, especially considering the abandoned store next door. Paranormal investigators often warn that empty spaces can sometimes become vessels, places where energy gathers without interruption. And then there's the singing, because one of the most unsettling signs reported in hauntings is disembodied singing. Familiar and human, but with no visible source. Many believe this is a way entities announce their presence, not loudly but subtly, but enough to be noticed and enough to be remembered. Until more updates are given, all anyone can do is speculate. But if you were standing there alone, hearing singing in an empty store, and watching things move on their own, what would you say you're dealing with? In this next video, a woman is in the middle of a live session, calmly recording herself and interacting with her audience, when something deeply unsettling appears behind her. Take a look.
Hi guys, today I want to tell you about Did you see it too? Okay, so what was that? I'm scared.
At first, nothing seems out of the ordinary. But then, for a brief moment, the outline of what appears to be a man becomes visible in the mirror. Moments later, she steps out to check the area, but there's no one there. Nothing that explains who or what was reflected. Shortly after she returns, her door slowly opens on its own. Some viewers believe this points to a possible intruder or even a stalker, someone who may have been inside the home without her knowledge, staying quiet and out of sight. And honestly, that explanation carries its own kind of fear. The idea that someone could enter and leave without being noticed is deeply disturbing, but others question the way the door opens. There's no visible force behind it, just a slow, steady movement that doesn't seem tied to anyone physically present. Either way, both explanations leave the same unsettling question. Was someone in her home that night, or was it something else? In this next video, a well-known Turkish paranormal content creator who specializes in found footage style investigations travels deep into the Turkish countryside to a village long rumored to be inhabited by jinn. These abandoned settlements, known locally as Turkadilmiş Koylar, are often avoided entirely, their silence carrying stories no one wants to verify firsthand. His first stop is an abandoned house at the edge of the village. Normally, his investigations begin quietly. Minutes pass with nothing but the sound of wind and his own footsteps. But this place feels different from the start. Only seconds after stepping inside, something suddenly tries to attack him.
Ha şu. Buradan uçtu valla.
The object narrowly misses him, and at that moment, he and his friend immediately realize they're dealing with something far more active than expected. They leave the house quickly because whatever threw that object didn't miss by accident. And there's no guarantee the next one would, but their investigation is only beginning. They soon arrive at another location deeper within the village, a place known as Sin Ovasa, the Plain of Jinn. Even the name carries a warning. As he scans the ground with his flashlight, something unusual catches his attention. Lying in the dirt is a small wooden structure, a talisman.
Tehlikeli. Burada ooo. Ağaçtan geldi. Bu ağaçtan geldi. Gördünüz mü arkadaşlar? Sesi duydun mu ya?
It appears to have been thrown from the direction of a nearby tree. In Turkish folk magic, objects like this are often referred to as a muska or talisman. They are believed to serve as anchors, either to bind a curse to a location or to trap a jinn in a specific place. They are usually buried carefully, hidden from sight, because disturbing or removing them is said to release whatever they were meant to contain. As they move closer to investigate, a strange voice suddenly breaks the silence. Neither of them can identify where it's coming from, but it's close enough to send them running. After putting some distance between themselves and the tree, they stop and shine their flashlight back toward the spot where they heard the sound. And that's when they see it. A figure, standing motionless in the darkness, watching them. They didn't stay long enough to find out what it was, but before leaving the village entirely, they decided to investigate one final abandoned house. Except, this house didn't feel abandoned.
Oradan mı geliyor? Bu orada. İnsan kıran insan. İnsan, evet. İnsan. Hadi insan delidir. İnsan normal bir insan. İnsandır. İnsan gibi diye. Tam kapıdaydı Sinan. Tam kapıdaydı.
As they slowly move through the rooms, their flashlight catches something disturbing. A hand that appears briefly from behind a door. It looks human, solid, and real. But when they entered, no one was there. No open doors, no broken windows, and no possible exit. Whoever or whatever they saw had nowhere to go, and somehow it vanished anyway. To this day, what they encountered inside that house remains a mystery. Now, in this next clip, popular Midwest investigator, Midwest Ghost Hunter, continues his investigation in one of the most feared locations in the state of Indiana, the abandoned Blackford County Jail. Earlier in his investigation, Ian had already been driven out of the basement after rocks were thrown in his direction. Still unsettled, he moves upstairs toward the sheriff's quarters, searching for something specific. A pair of slippers that previous visitors claim appears and disappears without explanation. But as Ian stands near the staircase, scanning the quiet hallway, something suddenly comes flying down from above. Watch closely.
Who's behind the disappearing slipper? Because I'm not gonna lie, that's one of the strangest things I've ever heard. Are you a female spirit? What is your name? Did you once live here? Oh, what the? What the heck was that? Dude, something just hit me on the freaking head. What the heck was that? Whoa! What? Is that a ring? Oh my god. Dude, I just got hit in the head with a freaking ring. Oh shit, I dropped it. Where did it go? Where'd it go? I dropped it somewhere down here. Dude, what the heck? Like, who threw something at me? Something just hit me in the head. It was a ring.
An old, ornate ring comes flying down the stairs and strikes him directly on the back of the head. Ian searches the immediate area, checking the floor, the steps, and the surrounding space, but couldn't find it anywhere. Then, things escalate even further.
Okay, I'm genuinely lost. I don't know where this thing went. Dude, I just heard a woman. Okay, I'm going up. Alright, screw the ring. I'm going up here. Hello? Hello? I just heard somebody. Oh, dude, I almost fell. I just heard somebody up here. Hello? Ma'am? Did you throw a ring at me? It's okay. I'm not mad. I just want to know why. Why'd you throw it? What if it disappeared? No. That's crazy. There's no way. I physically had it in my hand.
A faint woman's voice can be heard somewhere inside the quarters. Ian freezes and tries to listen carefully, but there's no one else inside the building. No footsteps, no movement, just the voice. To this day, it's still unclear what threw the ring or who was speaking. For more haunting videos including Ian, subscribe to the channel now. The following clip was recorded by a ghost hunter who, along with a friend, decided to explore an abandoned house with a long and unsettling history. Locals say the property has been empty for years after multiple owners moved out suddenly, all reporting the same thing: loud banging at night, objects shifting on their own, and an overwhelming sense of being watched the longer you stayed inside. Despite those warnings, the two decided to investigate after nightfall, hoping to document whatever was still lingering there. Not long into their exploration, something happened that neither of them has been able to explain to this day. Watch closely.
Oynuyor mu? Allah Allah, bu ne ya? İçinden ses geliyor, içinden ses geliyor. Onun içinden ses geliyor. Bırak,
A pipe can be seen moving violently on its own, with no visible cause and no one anywhere near it. Many believe this kind of aggressive movement points to a highly charged presence, possibly something reacting to their intrusion. Skeptics argue it could be vibrations or structural instability, but the intensity and timing of the movement make that explanation hard to accept. Until more investigations are done at this location, this remains unsolved. The man in this next video believes something non-human has been living in his house ever since he brought home an old African mask. It started with objects shifting slightly when no one was around, strange knocking sounds at odd hours, and the constant feeling of being watched. But over time, things escalated. He claims items have fallen on their own, shadowy figures have appeared briefly in doorways, and on one terrifying occasion, a knife was flung toward him. What makes it even more disturbing is that the activity doesn't follow a pattern. It happens during the day, in the middle of the night, whenever it wants, almost as if whatever's there doesn't need darkness to move. One night, while sitting in his living room, he suddenly heard a sound coming from the upstairs bathroom, like someone shifting their weight or stepping around inside. Knowing he was alone, he grabbed his phone and slowly headed up. Have a look.
Yeah, I was just sat on my computer watching the football. And that noise started. Fucking hell. I haven't captured anything for weeks. I've been feeling quite unsettled in this house still. Even with the mask on. It's that kind of feeling that someone's watching you. Hello?
If you watch closely, something appears in the bathroom mirror, a dark shape that seems to emerge and then slowly descend out of view. After sharing this footage, he says many people reached out suggesting he try communicating with whatever is causing the disturbances. He's since mentioned plans to attempt a Ouija board session to get answers. That idea immediately set off alarm bells for viewers. Many believe Ouija boards don't just invite communication, they invite anything willing to respond. Others warn that attempting contact can strengthen an entity's attachment, especially if it's already showing aggressive behavior. Some even think the mask itself could be a vessel or conduit, and that trying to communicate might make things far worse instead of bringing clarity. So, what do you think? Is using a Ouija board the only way to understand what's happening, or is it the worst possible move when something already feels this hostile? Now this next clip is about Kyle, a guy who's been sharing the unsettling things happening inside his home, things that never seem to stay in one place. First, it started in the crawl space, then it shifted to the attic, later, the garage, and now it's happening in the very room where Kyle sleeps. Kyle says he's heard children laughing in empty hallways, footsteps where no one should be, and objects subtly shifting when his back is turned. What makes it even stranger is that the sounds never repeat in the same spot twice, almost as if whatever this is doesn't want to be tracked. One evening, Kyle was hearing strange voices from his crawl space, so he decided to check, thinking maybe there's something hidden down there, an animal, old wiring, anything that could explain what's been tormenting him. But instead, he captures this. Watch.
If you didn't see that freaky thing in the crawl space, I'm going to slow the video down for you. Now I'm going to play it at normal speed, just looped over and over and over. Whatever that is, it can't be human, because no human can move that fast. I don't know if that's the same thing that I saw in the crawl space the last time that I caught on that security camera when I had that camera down there. I don't know, but it scared the hell out of me. I get a lot of people asking, like, what's the scariest thing that's ever happened in my house? That's got to be up there, but I'm thinking about making a top 5 video and posting that soon. And for the people that have been asking, it's been quiet lately. That's why I haven't been posting. Nothing's been happening. Thankfully, been having a break from all this. So, yep. Hope y'all have a Merry Christmas.
What's unsettling is that Kyle has caught something very similar before, up in his attic. Now he's wondering if this same figure has been moving freely through his home the entire time, slipping between spaces just out of sight. Whatever Kyle caught, it doesn't explain everything, but it does make one thing clear. This activity isn't tied to one location, and Kyle's home may not be as empty as it seems. The following video centers around a man named Steve, who says his experiences with spirits didn't start recently, but all the way back in childhood. Now, 54 years old, Steve believes the activity has intensified, not because something new has attached itself to him, but because it's never actually left. Over the years, he's claimed to hear different voices at different times, some calmly saying their full name, others making random statements that don't seem directed at anyone else in the room. According to Steve, these voices come unexpectedly, sometimes during quiet moments, and other times right in the middle of daily life. Watch and listen closely. At first, many viewers thought the voice was telling the dog to lay down, but when you replay it carefully, others are convinced the words are actually "play dead." What makes this especially unsettling is the dog's immediate reaction. After hearing his story, many believe the spirits may not be following him more now, but that Steve himself may be more open to them. There's a long-standing belief that sensitive individuals become more receptive with age, as their mental and emotional veil thins, making it easier for unexplained phenomena to break through. If that's the case, what Steve is experiencing may not be escalation, but exposure. Whether this is heightened sensitivity, something attached to him, or voices finding an easier way to be heard, one thing is clear. Steve's experiences raise serious questions about how long these presences have truly been around, and what they want now that they're being noticed more than ever. Now, in this next clip, a woman finally captures one of the unsettling things she's been experiencing inside her home. Before this video, she had already shared several disturbing moments, like finding her 6-month-old daughter sitting in front of her bedroom door, giggling, even though there was no possible way the baby could have gotten out on her own. She's also noticed her daughter waving at empty corners saying hi, and becoming visibly afraid of certain spots in the house for no clear reason. One afternoon, while dyeing her hair and casually recording her routine, she unknowingly caught something else on camera. Watch closely. For a lot of parents watching, this hit a nerve, and after reading through the comments, the woman revealed she plans to move out within 2 weeks. Living in a house like this is unsettling enough, but with an infant involved, many agree it's not worth the risk. So what do you think? An overreaction or the right decision? Sometimes you hear people say you should be careful about the toys you buy for your kids, especially secondhand or thrifted ones. And while most people brush that off as superstition, stories like this are exactly why the warnings exist. In this next video, a woman captures something deeply unsettling while her young daughter is quietly playing with one of her dolls. Watch closely. At first glance, it looks harmless, just a child playing. But then the doll's head moves on its own. The mother says the moment she noticed it, her stomach dropped. Some viewers tried to explain it away, suggesting the girl's leg may have nudged the doll. But others strongly disagreed, pointing out that the angle and timing don't line up. Many people began sharing a familiar belief that the earliest paranormal signs are rarely dramatic. They start small, subtle movements, things you second guess, and when those moments are ignored or dismissed, that's when activity is said to escalate. Negligence, according to them, isn't harmless. It's an invitation. So the real question here isn't whether the doll moved, it's what might have moved with it. The following clip was captured inside the old Gila County Jail in Globe, Arizona, widely considered one of the most haunted locations in the state. Since its closure in 1981, the jail has become a hotspot for paranormal investigations and has even appeared on shows like Ghost Adventures and Ghost Hunters. One of the jail's most disturbing stories centers around a former inmate whose life ended inside his cell in 1911 while he was awaiting trial for the drowning of 2 young girls. In the days leading up to his death, he claimed the spirits of those girls were visiting him, tormenting him inside his cell. To this day, visitors report sudden drops in temperature, an overwhelming sense of dread, and faint sobbing near his former cell in cell block B. Over the years, guests and investigators have also reported being touched, scratched, or pushed by unseen forces, along with disembodied voices, unexplained footsteps, and loud bangs echoing through the 2nd floor. On this particular night, a group of investigators set up a camera at the foot of one of the staircases. Watch closely.
I hear something in here now.
Whatever it is, you have to have got on this line.
Yep, oh, I guarantee we do.
So do you want to worry about it? You might need to walk through and see what's going on.
This voice is impressive on its own, but what makes it even more compelling is that one of our 2 investigators talking at the top of the stairs, discussing their worry about the rain, caught the same voice from one of their cameras. Take a listen.
You want to worry about those things.
Hey,
You might need to walk through and see what's going on.
here, Riley?
Yeah.
We let this video extend a bit longer to give you a comparison of the 3 voices heard in this clip, our 2 investigators' voices and the 3rd disembodied voice. To add to the mystery surrounding these stairs, less than 2 hours later, another camera at the top of these stairs automatically shuts itself off. Our team hurried to figure out what happened to the camera, realizing that we need to fix this unknown issue downstairs at base camp. This is what happened. After going through over 3 hours of footage, listening through the heavy rain and natural echoes through the prison, this voice is only heard twice. What are your thoughts?
Some believe it may be connected to the inmate whose restless presence is said to linger near the upper floors, while others think it could be something even older tied to the jail itself. It's moments like this that remind people why the old Gila County Jail continues to be an enigma, one that refuses to give up its secrets. Now this next clip comes from a guy named Chris, who regularly explores abandoned buildings with long, often unsettling histories. In this particular video, he's inside one of those locations alone, documenting the space when something strange is caught on camera. Watch closely.
Did you hear that? That was loud. What the hell? What the fuck? What the fuck was that?
At first, there's a loud bang that echoes through the building, sharp enough to make him freeze. Almost immediately after, you can see something shift in the frame, subtle but unmistakable. Chris later explains that in that exact moment, it felt like someone reached out and grabbed him by the shoulder. When this video surfaced, reactions were split. Viewers unfamiliar with Chris and his work were quick to dismiss it as post-production editing or a staged effect. But longtime followers pointed out that Chris doesn't usually sensationalize his footage, and that abandoned structures like this are often unpredictable, both structurally and otherwise. Whether it was something physical, something paranormal, or just a moment caught at the worst possible time, one thing is clear: whatever happened in that building left Chris visibly shaken. And for many who've explored places like this before, that reaction says more than the footage itself. In the following video, a man says he's been dealing with a persistent and unsettling feeling that someone is inside his house with him, and whenever that feeling hits, it's not subtle. His chest suddenly feels heavy, like the air around him has thickened, making it hard to breathe normally. He describes it as a pressure that comes out of nowhere, usually late at night when the house is quiet. One night, that same feeling returned. Instead of brushing it off, he picked up his phone, hoping to finally catch whoever or whatever was causing it. But what he ended up recording was something he didn't expect at all. Watch closely. After seeing this, he says he's now convinced that something is moving freely inside his home, aware of his presence, but careful about when it reveals itself. Some viewers believe this could explain the physical sensations he's been feeling, suggesting that intense fear or stress can manifest as chest pressure when someone senses danger. Paranormal investigators often approach situations like this in different ways. Some believe acknowledging the presence gives it strength, while others suggest setting firm boundaries, cleansing the space, or even temporarily leaving the home to break whatever attachment may exist. And then there are those who say that when your instincts keep warning you, when your body reacts before your mind does, it's not something to ignore, because sometimes when your gut tells you you're not alone, it might already be too late to pretend otherwise. This next video is about Kyle, who has been living in this house for about a year and a half, and whatever is happening there has never stayed in one place. The activity seems to move freely through the home, starting in the crawl space, then shifting to the attic, later the garage, and now even the rooms where he sleeps. Kyle reports hearing children laughing in empty hallways, objects shifting when no one is near them, and sudden noises that don't repeat in the same location twice. Hoping to find a logical source, Kyle decides to check the attic himself, thinking maybe there's something hidden or overlooked that could explain everything. But what he finds only raises more questions. Watch.
Shit. Oh my God. Shit. Damn it. I'm hearing voices up here again. Yo. There's like a little kid laughing. Surely you heard that. Oh man, it's getting funny at this point. What the heck? I think some of y'all are right. I think ever since I put that ornament that I found up here on the Christmas tree, things have been a little wild. Happy holidays, I guess. Okay, maybe it's time to get out of here. I thought I was going to come up here and look around, see if I could find anything else, but we might have to... Maybe I just need to get a friend to come with me or something. Yeah, we'll see about that.
At first, Kyle believes he's only hearing voices, but if you look closely, a figure appears to be standing completely still directly in front of him. Some viewers also point out faint orbs drifting through the frame, and combined with the voices, many believe the attic was already fully active before Kyle ever stepped inside. Whether this is a single entity moving through the house or something far more complex, one thing is clear: the activity in Kyle's home isn't slowing down. Now in this next video, a man shares footage that many viewers say proves that renovating a house doesn't erase whatever energy is already there. Here's a bit of background. The house was originally built in 1949 and has gone through several renovations over the years. At the time this video was recorded, it was still occupied by an elderly woman, and the man in the clip would regularly come by to carry out remodeling work. But according to him, every time he stepped into the house, something felt off. He described sudden cold spots, the uneasy feeling of being watched, and no matter how long he stayed, he never felt fully alone. One day, while working in the basement, something happened right in front of him. Watch. Viewers were quick to point out that there's no obvious explanation for how it shifts the way it does. Some believe the age of the house plays a role, that decades of lived experiences, emotions, and unresolved events can leave something behind, especially in places like basements where energy is said to linger. Others think the activity could be tied to the former owner herself, or even the tension surrounding the home. Shortly after this was recorded, the elderly woman was moved into a nursing home and the house was put up for sale. According to the man, the family had already begun arguing over money and her will, creating even more unrest around the property. Whether it's residual energy from the past, something attached to the house itself, or just another unexplained moment caught on camera, this home seems to carry more than just its history, and whatever moved that chair may not be finished making its presence known. In this next clip, a family was settling in for the night, watching a horror movie called The Deliverance, a film inspired by the real-life 2011 Demon House case of LaToya Ammons in Gary, Indiana. Everything felt normal at first, just another scary movie night, until the atmosphere inside the house began to change. Right in the middle of the film, the power suddenly went out in the parlor. Almost immediately after, the family felt a heavy shift in the room, the unmistakable sensation that someone had just walked into the living room with them. Panicked, they went to their rooms, hoping whatever it was would stop there. But whatever entered the house that night wasn't finished. Watch.
Oh, hell no! Bro, what the? Oh, hell no, you gotta go.
After this encounter, the family swore off horror movies completely. Many viewers believe films based on real events can stir up fear, emotion, and attention, things that some say act like an invitation. Others argue it's a coincidence, that the tension from the movie simply heightened their senses. But there are also those who warn that once something makes itself known, it doesn't always leave on its own. The real concern now is whether this was a one-time incident, or the beginning of something that plans to come back when the house goes quiet again. What do you think? Now, in this next video, a family's dog has been acting strangely, and what it reacts to has left viewers uneasy. Watch closely. The dog is clearly seeing something no one else can see, but two details immediately stand out. First, the family doesn't seem overly concerned. They brush it off, suggesting the dog is simply acting out or responding to a random noise. And second, when the dog becomes more agitated, they shush it, a moment that made many viewers uncomfortable. A lot of people believe animals sense changes in their environment long before humans do, especially when it comes to unfamiliar presences or sudden shifts in energy. What makes this even stranger is that only one dog reacts. So, what do you think? An overreactive pet? Or the only one in the house paying attention? Now, in this next clip, the popular Midwest ghost hunter Ian continues his solo exploration through the haunted buildings of Bonanzaville. Still inside the mansion, he enters one particular bedroom that many visitors say feels different from the rest. This is the room where people have reported seeing an imprint on the bed, as if someone is lying there even when the room is empty. It's also believed to be the very room where the mansion's owner, David, passed away. Watch closely.
Well, doesn't really look like it. David, did you die in this room? I heard you died of a brain hemorrhage, and I'm very, very sorry to hear that. Are you the one that leaves the imprint on the pillow? Could you do it right now? What the heck is that? What is that? Mom? Somebody downstairs? What the heck is that? Is like a jingling sound. What the heck is that? It's down there.
After leaving the room, Ian starts hearing unexplained sounds coming from downstairs. As he follows the sound, he captures something even more unsettling.
Wait a minute. Look at that. Dude, those things are freaking moving. Oh, hell no. Hell no. How is that even possible? Look at that. You're freaking moving like crazy. And that's her staying unstable. That's even more terrifying. Oh, God. How is that even happening? There's no air in here or anything. Oh, God. Look at that. They're still moving. Oh, what? Dude, this camera just died.
The crystals on the lamp begin swaying back and forth aggressively, far more than a draft or vibration could explain. What makes this moment even stranger is what happens next. As Ian approaches the table, both of his cameras suddenly die, despite showing full battery just moments earlier. Almost immediately, Ian begins to feel lightheaded, overwhelmed, and uneasy, sensations many investigators associate with intense paranormal encounters. Realizing something may not want him there anymore, Ian makes the decision to leave the mansion. Was this a warning, or something following him all along? You decide. For more haunting videos including Ian, subscribe to the channel now. The following clip was recorded inside Kyle's house, a place we've featured several times on this channel. For the past few weeks, things have been unusually quiet, but as many people familiar with paranormal cases will tell you, long quiet periods don't always mean the activity is gone. Sometimes they mean something is building up. One morning, Kyle woke up to the sound of voices coming from somewhere inside his house. Watch closely. At first, he did what most people would do. He searched the house room by room, trying to find a logical source. No TV was on, no phone, no neighbors, nothing that could explain what he was hearing. But when he reached the basement door, things became even more unsettling. Viewers who analyzed the clip claim they heard a young girl's voice whispering, "He's coming." But Kyle doesn't have any children, and no kids were anywhere near the house at the time. Several people urged Kyle not to respond verbally, especially not in the moment, a common warning when unexplained voices are heard, as acknowledging them is believed by some to strengthen the activity. For now, Kyle hasn't been able to explain what he heard that morning, just a voice that shouldn't have been there, and a house that, after weeks of silence, suddenly felt very. In this next video, a security guard shares more updates from his workplace, a place where strange figures have been showing up far too often to ignore. In earlier clips, he documented unexplained figures passing, and he thought it was going to be a one-off activity, but it happened again. One night during his shift, he noticed a white figure moving through the building once again. Instead of brushing it off, he decided to stand up and follow it, hoping to finally get a clearer look. Watch closely.
The storm is so bad that ghost had to go upstairs. Look at the bottom right. Look. There you go. Look at that. It was cold. I'm like, oh shit. I wanted to follow it and feel. See, I'm trying to feel, like, follow the cold breeze. I saw it going towards the elevator. So I went there. It was actually a cold breeze towards the elevator, then it just stopped. So I'm like, damn. Shit. So I walked back thinking the motherfucker was gone. I guess it didn't want me to follow it. So I'm like, okay. Then something touched me. I'm like, what the something touched me. I'm still trying to see, like, where is it at? Like, it vanished, so how is it still touching me or something? I don't know. It's creepy. So I'm like, okay. Well, at least I saw it and followed it for a little moment. Then it went to vanish. I'm like, oh, yeah. I was like, go ahead and take your ass upstairs and get warm.
Aside from briefly touching him, there haven't been any violent attacks, scratches, or aggressive behavior. This led many to believe this could be a non-hostile or friendly spirit, possibly unaware of its surroundings or simply repeating a routine it once had in life. But it happened again. On another night shift, the guard spotted the same faint white figure again, only this time it came through the door. And as the figure moved closer, he described feeling a sudden cold breeze, even though the building's temperature hadn't changed. Have a look.
I saw that motherfucker again. Just look real close. Just look. It's coming from the door, from outside. See it? It's faint. It's real faint. I'm looking at it, I'm like, hold on, let me feel if it's real. It's cold too. When I put my hand up there by it, it's real cold. Then it went back there towards the door, all the way back there in the back. I'm like, whoa. I wanted to see it went close to me or some shit. I'm like, oh, so ghosts, because ghosts do give out like a cold chill, like when you put, like, it's like a cold breeze there. I'm like, okay. Shit, I saw it came from outside too. I'm like, damn. And I wasn't even freaked out. I just wanted to see how it felt. I was like, that motherfucker cold in the mud. So I saw it. That shit is crazy, man. It's been a while since I've seen this, so like I said, it come every now and then, but you have to look real hard though, real hard to see it. It came from here and it went real slow. Just look real hard when you rewind the video.
In paranormal belief, sudden cold spots are often associated with spirits because it's said they draw energy from their surroundings to manifest or move. Many claim that when a temperature drops without explanation, it can signal a spirit passing through or attempting to interact. Despite multiple encounters, the figure has never spoken, it hasn't shown its face, and it hasn't revealed why it keeps appearing in the same workplace night after night. Until more updates are shared, this case remains unsolved. Now, this next video is about David, the man who bought a doll and almost immediately realized he'd made a serious mistake. At first, David believed the activity was tied directly to the doll, so he did what many advised. He locked it inside a cage and placed a Bible on top, hoping that would contain whatever presence was attached to it. But the activity in his house didn't stop. In fact, many viewers believe that while the doll may have acted as a trigger, whatever came with it may have already spread throughout the house long before it was locked away. One night, around 4 a.m., David woke up to get some work done, but as he finished and was about to head to bed, he began hearing something that immediately put him on edge. Listen closely.
Están escuchando, ¿no? Son pasos, esos son pasos. Y los estoy escuchando, ya van 2 veces que los escucho. Entonces la segunda vez dije, ok, termino de hacer la cama y empiezo a grabar. Ok, ya escucharon, ¿no? Bueno, entonces ¿Por qué tengo la luz así? Porque me duermo con la luz de rojo y ya está. Y para los que digan, esas cruces que no sé qué, son adornos, nada más. Entonces, ya encendí la luz del celular, ¿ok? Porque ahorita todo está apagado. ¿Qué voy a hacer? Ahí se escucha. A ver.
It sounded unmistakably like footsteps, and David was completely alone. In the same video, David addresses something many commenters had been focusing on: the red lighting in his room and the crosses on the wall. He explains that the red light helps him sleep, and the crosses are simply decorative ornaments, not ritualistic, not symbolic. But viewers aren't convinced. Many argued that red lighting is often associated with heightened emotional states or altered perception, while others insisted that symbolic objects, even when decorative, can still act as spiritual triggers, especially in an already active environment. Trying to locate the source of the noise, David followed the sound, and it didn't surprise anyone when the footsteps led him straight to the room where the doll was locked. But what shocked viewers most wasn't the room. It was what appeared just before he reached it: a face, barely visible, peeking out from the darkness, watching him. That single moment escalated everything, because now there were 3 separate concerns: the doll locked in the cage, the red light, and the cross ornaments, and now a visible presence that wasn't hiding anymore. David shared that this wasn't the first time he heard footsteps. One night while he was home alone, he heard footsteps so convincing that he genuinely believed someone had broken into his house. Have a look.
Se escuchó que alguien venía así, hacia mí. Y fue cuando cerré la puerta.
After that incident, viewers advised him to prepare for the next time it happened, specifically by using talcum powder, a method some believe can reveal unseen movement through footprints. So when it happened again, David knew exactly what to do. Watch this carefully.
Talco para pies. No me importa usarlo todo. Bueno, amigas, bueno, amigos, así quedó. Ya está. No fue mucho lo que quedaba. Ya se vació esto. Voy a dejarlo así, qué sé yo, toda la tarde y toda la noche de mañana. A ver qué pasa. Es decir, en 24 horas reviso. Ya está. Antes de voy a encender la luz de esto. Todo eso está el talco, ¿ok? Sí se ve bien creepy, ¿no? Ah, cosa curiosa. El rosario de la Biblia ya no... A ver, así. Ya no encuentro el rosario de la Biblia. Y si se dan cuenta, la muñeca se volvió a mover.
As he pours the powder, something else happens. A voice can be heard. And for those familiar with David's story, this voice is disturbingly familiar. From the very beginning, David has described hearing a voice that sounds distressed, sometimes crying, sometimes calling his name, sometimes sounding like it's asking for forgiveness, as if whatever is there isn't just present, but suffering. Then, David noticed something else. The doll had changed position inside the cage, and the rosary he'd placed on top of the Bible was gone. At this point, even viewers couldn't agree on what was truly responsible. Some still blame the doll, others insist the house itself may already be haunted. A few believe it's the environment, the lighting, the symbols, the attention, feeding whatever is there. And then there's the face, because once something is watching you, it's no longer contained. So what do you think is causing all of this? The doll, the red light, the the crosses, or the house itself. You be the judge. In the following video, a woman shares footage after more than 2 weeks of unsettling experiences. Incidents that have slowly pushed her toward one frightening conclusion, that something may have attached itself to her. Watch this carefully.
I'm recording this to see if I can catch it on camera this time. But I'm home alone for the night and I swear I've been hearing noises. And usually this happens, but this time it turns off. Please tell me that you can hear it.
To a lot of people, this might not be a classic attachment case. Attachments usually don't begin loudly, they start subtly. A constant feeling of being watched, sudden emotional shifts that don't feel like your own, exhaustion that doesn't improve with rest, recurring intrusive thoughts, vivid dreams involving the same presence, or a heavy sensation in the chest or shoulders, as if something is always nearby. So this might be something else, a mimic. Mimic cases often present differently. Instead of targeting emotions or energy first, mimics focus on imitation. They copy familiar voices, repeat phrases the person has heard before, and create situations designed to provoke a response. And that's where the most important rule comes in. The number one rule when dealing with a mimic is this: do not respond and do not acknowledge it in any way. No speaking back, no calling out, no asking questions, no reacting emotionally. Sometimes, while attachments tend to drain and linger quietly, mimics provoke, and once they're acknowledged, they rarely stop. Until more updates are shared, the situation remains deeply unsettling. Now, in this next video, a man is simply giving his friends and family a tour of his new apartment. Nothing unusual, just a quick walkthrough to show the space. But he captured something terrifying. Take a look. It wasn't until one of his friends decided to slow the video down and examine each room more carefully that something disturbing stood out. As he walks past one of the rooms, there appears to be a woman standing still, facing the window. She doesn't move and she didn't turn. The man insists he was completely alone while filming. No roommate, no visitor. Viewers quickly began analyzing the footage frame by frame. Some believe it could be a reflection or a trick of lighting, but others pointed out that the figure appears to have depth and form, standing in a spot where no mirror or reflective surface should be. The posture is also unsettlingly natural, like someone quietly observing the outside world. So, what do you do when your new apartment already has someone living rent-free in it? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one. This next video was captured by Nate, a man whose dog has been trying to warn him that something isn't right inside the house. One night, while Nate was home alone watching TV, this happened. Watch closely.
So I'm here watching football, and this light keeps going on and off. I was just up there going to the bathroom. Like, I checked the bulb, and the switch is right there. It just started doing this.
If it's just the lights turning on and off, some might say he's overreacting. Electrical issues happen, but when you factor in everything else that's already happened in this house, the situation becomes much harder to dismiss. We've heard whispers underneath several of Nate's past videos, faint, low, and not coming from the TV. There's also the clip where a knife was thrown across the room, even though no one was standing near it. And then there's his dog, who refuses to go into certain corners of the house, freezing in place, growling, or leaving the room altogether. And when multiple signs start stacking up, sound, movement, objects being thrown, and an animal clearly reacting, it begins to feel like something is escalating. For now, Nate hasn't been able to explain what's going on inside his home. So until more answers or updates surface, this one remains completely unsolved. Now in this next clip, popular Midwest ghost hunter Ian returns to what many locals consider the most haunted house in Minnesota, the infamous Boyd House. The home belonged to the Ehart family, Fred and Minnie, and was originally built back in 1901. As Ian entered one of the rooms, something immediately caught his attention. A light suddenly turned on by itself. At that moment, Ian knew he needed answers. Was this Fred, Minnie, or something else entirely? So he began asking questions.
Minnie, was that you that I heard earlier? Making all those noises? Turning on that closet light? Was that you? I feel him moving again. Thank you. I think they uncrossed. I hope you don't mind me visiting. It is a lovely place. You know, I keep coming back for a reason, right? What the heck was that? That sounded like a female voice, almost. It was like really faint. Minnie, is that you? There it is again. Okay. That is really spooky sounding. It sounds like a woman, like humming. Like,
Was that Minnie, the former owner many believe still wanders the house, known for moving objects and interacting with the environment? Or has something else found its way into the Boyd house, drawn in by years of attention and investigations? This footage dates back to August 2025 and was captured by a security camera inside a family home. A woman who's been fighting a slow, exhausting mystery within her own walls. One that didn't begin with terror, but with small things that felt off. At first, it was easy to ignore. Toys would turn up in strange places, nowhere near where her child left them. Doors she distinctly remembers locking the night before would be standing open by morning. But what unsettled her most was something harder to explain. Every now and then, the house would suddenly fill with a smell, sharp, sterile, like medicine, or cold metal, with no source she could identify. For nearly 3 years, she tried to approach it rationally, but nothing stopped the feeling that something wasn't right. Eventually, she installed security cameras throughout the house and began checking the footage whenever she could. On August 23, 2025, the cameras finally captured something she wasn't prepared for. The first clip was recorded while her young son was asleep and she was taking a bath. The second clip is even stranger. It was early in the morning, and if you pay close attention, you'll notice that she enters the frame from the opposite direction the figure had just been moving, meaning whatever appears on camera wasn't following her. It was already there. She's hoping someone could help debunk it or point her toward a real explanation. So, what do you think? The following video was captured by CCTV inside a hospital, a place that never truly sleeps. Even late at night, the halls are filled with quiet movement. Nurses checking vitals, machines humming softly, families drifting in and out of wards. But on this particular night, something else may have been moving too. You can see what appears to be the figure of a small child, standing completely still. It doesn't move toward anyone, it doesn't react, it simply stands there, as if waiting. Moments later, the parents of one of the patients walk directly through the figure, and they clearly have no idea anything unusual just happened. Hospitals are often described as some of the most active locations when it comes to unexplained encounters. They're places where fear, grief, hope, and loss all exist at the same time, and many believe that kind of emotional weight leaves something behind. So, was this just a trick of shadows and lighting, or did the camera capture something most people walk past every day, without ever knowing it's there? This footage dates back to 2018 and was captured by a security camera inside a manned store. The store itself is an open-air garage with nearly 20-foot high ceilings, wide open space, and clear sight lines, the kind of place where movement is hard to miss. That afternoon, the owner was alone in his store when this happened. Out of nowhere, his sunglasses drop to the floor. At first glance, it might seem harmless. Maybe they fell off a shelf or were knocked over. But when he reviewed the CCTV footage, he realized something terrifying. No one walked in, nothing passed by. There was no gust of wind, no vibration, and no visible cause. The sunglasses didn't slide or tip over. It flew, as if it had been thrown. Many suggest the possibility of an unseen presence interacting with the environment, something strong enough to move a physical object, yet invisible to the camera. And in a wide open space like this, with nowhere to hide, that possibility becomes even harder to ignore. What do you think happened here? A freak accident, or something watching him work, waiting for the moment to make itself known? You be the judge. In this next video, a man who owns a Mexican seafood restaurant began noticing strange, almost unexplainable movements inside his business. At first, it was easy to brush them off. Small things that could be blamed on long hours, exhaustion, or simple coincidence. Glasses weren't where they were left. Items behind the bar seemed slightly out of place. And sometimes, there was the unsettling feeling that something had moved when no one was nearby. At first, he didn't think much of it, but that changed once the security cameras started catching things he just couldn't understand. In the first video, the man is about to serve a drink, and if you look closely at the tray, one of the shot glasses suddenly moves on its own. He notices it, pauses for a moment, then brushes it off, assuming he imagined it. But the activity didn't stop there. Another clip shows one of the bartenders holding a bottle when, without warning, the neck of the bottle snaps clean off in his hand. Then comes another piece of footage. A bottle shifting on its own, sliding without anyone touching it. At this point, some might argue it only happens during busy working hours. Vibrations, movement, people nearby. But the most unsettling moment comes later, when the restaurant is completely closed. The security camera records creepy audio, faint whispers, low voices, sounds that shouldn't be there when the place is empty. Now the staff can't help but wonder whether these are just a series of bizarre coincidences, or signs that something else may be sharing their restaurant with them. Is it too early to call it haunted, or is this exactly the moment they should start paying closer attention and looking for answers? A woman named Mel and her family had just left their house for a quiet weekend getaway when her phone suddenly buzzed with a Ring camera notification, one that shocked the living daylight out of her. Watch this. On the footage, something or someone opens the front door, allowing her dogs to walk outside freely. What makes this unsettling is that when Mel checked the indoor cameras, there was no one visible inside the house. The door simply opens. Imagine being miles away from a home you're certain you locked, only to watch it open on its own. At that moment, Mel's biggest concern wasn't even the door, it was her dogs. She immediately called her neighbors and asked them to help. Thankfully, they were able to get the dogs safely back inside. Needless to say, that weekend getaway ended right there. This terrifying footage was captured by a nearby house security camera. A guy had just arrived at his mom's place and stepped out of his car to offload a few things, but the camera caught something he didn't notice at the time. You'll see what looks like a human figure walking slowly out of the woods. At first glance, it's easy to miss, but as the figure approaches the car, it suddenly bows down and then drops straight out of sight, disappearing completely. That's where the speculation begins. People say this could be a phantom person, a phenomenon many believe isn't a myth at all, but something that's been reported for centuries. Stories describe these figures as appearing briefly, often near roads, trees, or homes, only to vanish in ways that don't match human movement. Some say phantom people aren't spirits in the traditional sense, but residual figures, moments caught between time, replaying fragments of something that once happened there. So what do you think? A coincidence caught at the wrong moment, or something ancient and very real stepping briefly into view? This footage dates back to 2017, when a woman was simply trying to get some work done, but whatever was in the room with her clearly wasn't ready to let her focus. At first, the security camera captures something subtle. The chair shifts slightly. It's easy to dismiss. Chairs move sometimes, but then it slides farther than it should, before slowly drifting back into place, almost carefully. And when that didn't get her attention, whatever was there escalated. An object close to her, a bottle on the table, suddenly tips over and falls. That finally makes her react. She looks up, clearly confused, trying to make sense of what just happened. But it doesn't stop there. Moments later, her own chair is pulled backward, forcefully enough to break the illusion of coincidence entirely. This wasn't something falling, this wasn't gravity, this was interaction. And here's the detail that unsettles many viewers the most. If you increase the brightness of the footage, you can see what appears to be a faint silhouette moving backward in sync with the chair, as if something unseen is physically pulling it away from her. So here's the question that stays with viewers long after the clip ends. Was this something trying to frighten her, or something that had been there all along, finally making sure she noticed? You decide. The following footage was captured by a CCTV camera inside a local store late at night, long after the doors had been locked and everyone had gone home. Almost immediately, the internet split into debate. Some say it's nothing more than a draft, a random gust of air moving the toy across the floor. But skeptics were quick to point out how unlikely that explanation is. The toy doesn't slide or tip over. It rolls smoothly, almost as if it's being guided. Others suggested the toy had been left switched on, and that a faulty motor caused it to move on its own. On paper, that sounds reasonable. But here's where the explanation starts to fall apart. According to the store owner, the toy hadn't been touched for hours, and the store was completely empty at the time. What unsettled many viewers even more was the way the wheels moved. Several people slowed the footage down frame by frame, pointing out that the motion didn't look random or jerky. It looked controlled, like someone was pushing it just enough to make it roll. Locals familiar with the store claim strange things have been happening there for years, items falling from shelves when no one is nearby, and faint footsteps heard after closing hours. So, what do you think? Was this nothing more than physics and a malfunctioning toy? Or did the security camera accidentally capture something unseen, quietly passing the time, playing with a toy when it thought no one was watching? This footage was captured by a security camera installed in a basement. One evening, the homeowner went downstairs to grab a few things when he got distracted by a message on his phone. He sat down, unaware that the camera behind him was recording something he wouldn't notice until much later. Out of nowhere, the calendar is ripped off the wall. 2 pages tear clean through as it comes down, and when he checked the wall afterward, the nail was still firmly in place. Even stranger, when he picked the calendar back up and tried to hang it again, the hole lined up perfectly with the nail, meaning the paper didn't stretch, tear open, or rip downward the way it normally would if gravity alone caused it to fall. Some viewers pointed out the dog's reaction, or lack of one. Instead of barking or panicking, the dog simply moves away, as if giving space to something it sensed but didn't want to confront. What do you think? A man's brother came to stay over for a few days, and just a few hours after settling into the house, he had the feeling someone was shifting the bed in the guest room. He brushed it off, but as the night went on, the details stopped adding up. Eventually, the man decided to go back through the family's CCTV footage to see if anything unusual had been captured. Something was moving. But here's the problem. This is at least a queen-size bed, and his brother's wife is noticeably shorter, and from her sleeping position, her legs shouldn't even reach that far. Yet in the footage, her left leg flicks sharply and unnaturally, far faster and farther than would be possible for someone side sleeping in that position. So is something sharing the bed with them? You be the judge. This mysterious video was posted on Reddit, and ever since, people have gone into overdrive trying to analyze what they're seeing. While a family was out for the evening, with no one left behind in the house, their security camera captured something completely horrifying. What appears in the footage looks disturbingly like a small child walking through the house. When the family received a motion alert and checked the footage, they were immediately shaken. There were no children in the home and no pets. When they returned, still trying to rationalize what they'd seen, they reached out to the previous owners to ask if they had ever experienced anything strange while living there. That's when things got worse. The former occupants responded by sending their own video, footage from their Ring camera showing multiple orbs drifting around the property at night. They admitted they'd always felt like something was in the house with them. Then came another disturbing detail. The previous owners said their time in the house was marked by constant arguments, tension that seemed to come out of nowhere. Eventually, their marriage collapsed and they divorced, selling the house shortly after. Sadly, at the time this ghost child video was posted, the new owners were also in the middle of a divorce. And just like before, the house had gone back on the market. Different families, same house, same feeling, same ending. So is this just an unsettling coincidence? Or is there something about that house that doesn't let families stay whole? You decide. In the following video, Kyle was filming, talking excitedly about publishing his upcoming horror novel, when something happened that instantly shifted the tone. Watch.
2 agents, they got enough for me. Holy shit. That just opened by itself. Okay. Yo. That just opened. It just opened by itself. We're gonna... And this broke. This broke. Okay, maybe that's for the best. Oh. That scared the shit out of me. I'm gonna have a freaking heart attack. That string broke. Well, that's just fine because I'm never going up there again.
That door leading to the attic? It's the same attic where he's captured strange figures, unexplained bangs, footsteps pacing above his room, and even whispering voices when no one else was home. So when the door creaked open behind him in the middle of his recording, many viewers became convinced it wasn't a coincidence at all, that something up there was inviting him, or trying to get his attention. Others, meanwhile, are eagerly waiting for his book, especially because they know his stories aren't just fiction. A lot of them are based on real events, things he has personally lived through in that house. People are already speculating about which moments he'll write about, and how he managed to cope with everything he's been experiencing. But until Kyle gives an update, or until the release of that book, this remains yet another unsettling moment in a house that refuses to stay quiet. Now, in this next video, a woman named Monica Monge, who works after hours in an office building that's completely empty at night, holidays, and weekends, has been experiencing something she can no longer brush off. One night, while she was doing her usual rounds, this happened.
I'm at work. I'm the only person here. And I'm here. Oh my god, I'm scared. The scary movie says you don't go see what's going on. But what the I'm gonna lose my goddamn shit. Okay, I'm gonna die.
A voice said, "What are you thinking?" even though she was the only one in the entire building. And then there was the toy she picked up to inspect, thinking maybe it had batteries, but it didn't. It only makes noise if someone physically touches it. Yet in the video, it activates all on its own, as if an invisible hand was playing with it right next to her. This clip has caused a huge debate online. Some people are convinced Monica is dealing with something otherworldly, something intelligent. To them, a voice responding directly to her and a toy working on its own feels far too specific and intentional to dismiss as coincidence. And with the security guards reportedly hearing similar things, many believe whatever's in that office isn't just passing through, it's trying to communicate. But it's hard not to wonder if Monica has become the center of something she was never meant to notice. Until she shares more footage, this case remains a mystery. Now, this next video comes from a woman who recently ended things with her boyfriend, but according to her, the breakup didn't end the story. In fact, she believes it only made things worse. She claims her ex had something dark attached to him, something his family openly acknowledged. And once she heard them speak about it so casually, so normally, that's when she started connecting the dots. All the strange wiring issues in his house, the unexplained noises, the way objects moved on their own. She began to realize these weren't random incidents. They were signs of whatever the family had been living with for years. And then came the night captured in this clip, filmed while she and her ex were separated.
It's just something. What?
This wasn't the first time something happened, and definitely not the worst. She later talked about an incident involving his sister. One morning, the sister woke up to find her puppy dead, and every single plant in her house completely withered overnight, and when she herself was still living with her boyfriend, she experienced nights where the entire atmosphere of the house would change. Sharp cold spots appearing out of nowhere, doors creaking open even after she locked them, and shadows moving in corners where there was nowhere for shadows to be. Some nights, she said, it felt like something was walking from room to room, checking on them. And now that she's out of the relationship, she believes whatever was attached to the family has turned its attention toward her. Many call it a jumper, something that doesn't just haunt a single house or a single person, but moves. It attaches itself to whoever comes close enough, feeding off the conflict, the stress, the emotional chaos, and following them even after they leave. Whether it's because she spent years around it, or because it chose her, she doesn't know. But based on this footage and everything she's described, it seems like whatever was haunting that family isn't quite done with her yet. In this next video, two friends were at home, hanging out and playing games when they started noticing strange things. It started in the hallway, something that made both of them glance up from their game even though neither wanted to admit they saw it. Moments later, the chair in their room suddenly moved on its own, and that's when it hit them. Whatever they sensed in the hallway, it didn't stay there. People online are divided about what exactly was happening here. Whatever was in that hallway was watching them, reacting to them, and eventually stepping into the room with them. So, was it something intelligent, or something that simply didn't want to stay in the hallway anymore? You decide. The following footage was recorded on the first floor of West Hill Manor in Burlington County, a location already known for its long history of strange encounters. According to the group investigating the home that night, every single person was on the third floor when this happened. No one was downstairs, no one was even close. Watch closely. If you look toward the doorway on the right, you'll see it, a strange mist drifting across the frame. And then, just seconds later, a loud bang was heard from the 3rd floor. This is where things get interesting. It almost looks like the mist moves upward, as though whatever it was slipped out of the 1st floor doorway and traveled straight to where the sound happened. Many viewers immediately connected the two events, suggesting that the mist wasn't random environmental interference at all, but an apparition transitioning between floors. Some believe this might be a spirit that's aware of the investigators and is trying to make its presence known by traveling through the house and manipulating its surroundings. But the biggest question remains, was this mist responsible for the bang, or did it go upstairs because of the bang, as though reacting to something else entirely? Either way, the timing is too close to be ignored. Whatever moved through that doorway wasn't supposed to be there, and it definitely wasn't ordinary. I'd love to know what you think about this one. In this next clip, Ruger's mom was lying in bed when the strangest thing happened, something she genuinely couldn't explain later. Take a look at this, and listen closely.
Okay.
Her mom is clearly reaching out into the darkness, waving as if she's responding to someone standing right beside the bed. And if you listen closely, you'll hear a soft voice whispering, "Mama." According to Ruger, that voice sounds exactly like her sister's voice, the sister who passed away back in 2017. This is where the debate really begins. Some viewers believe this was a moment of comforting visitation, that her late sister might have been reaching out, maybe checking on their mother, and the mother somehow sensed her presence. They point out that the mother's reactions seemed gentle, not startled. Others believe this could be something entirely different, something mimicking the sister's voice. Mimics are known for using familiar voices to draw attention or interaction, especially during vulnerable moments like sleep. The way her mom reached out without hesitation makes some people wonder if something wanted her to respond. Then there's the idea of sleep state sensitivity, where people in half-dream, half-awake moments are more open to the supernatural. Some say her mom could have been in a liminal state, aware enough to react, but relaxed enough to perceive things most people wouldn't. But I'll leave you to be the judge on this one. Now, in this next video, the popular Midwest ghost hunter Ian continues his deep dive into one of Nebraska's most notoriously haunted locations, the Argo Hotel. And this time, the moment he stepped into one particular room, something sent him running. This wasn't just any room, it's the one rumored to be haunted by the spirit of a woman guests claim likes to brush against people while they sleep, almost as if she's checking whether they're awake, or if they're alone. Even Ian, who has seen more than most of us ever will, couldn't stand the room, but after catching his breath, he went back in.
There is proof that this hotel is ridiculously haunted. Alright, I should at least shut it off, shouldn't I? Don't want to waste the water. Oh god, okay. Don't mind me. Coming in. The freaking beat scared me. I'm sorry, bud. I'm gonna have to cut you off here. How do you explain that? How do you explain that? I am speechless. I don't even know what to say. Other than, I'm leaving a freaking camera in here. And I'm getting out of Dodge. That's all I know. Thank you. Alright, so I've got a spirit box here. I'm gonna walk around this whole entire floor and see if I can get any responses.
He spoke calmly, trying to communicate, trying to see if whatever was there would respond. A few moments later, he suddenly began hearing something.
Whoever's responsible for the phantom music in here, I'd love to hear some more of it. Could you place them in this room? Why is that spinning? Wait a minute, that thing wasn't even on. Why is it spinning? What the heck? Dude, this thing is freaking spinning on its own. And you can tell it's not even on because look at it, it's slowing down. Oh, what the heck? That is so freaking bizarre. And now look. It completely stopped. How do you explain that? Like, legit, like what just happened? If this fan was on, it would literally be spinning continuously. And if you look, let's see, are the switches on? Nope, they're both down. So what the heck just happened there? Oh, Jesus Christ. What the hell was that? Dude, this room is crazy active. Those other rooms were completely silent, but this room, not this room. What the heck was that?
Every minute he spends inside this hotel keeps pointing to the same conclusion. This place isn't just haunted, it's active. And whatever's in that room seems more than willing to let him know he isn't alone. For more haunting videos, including Ian, subscribe to the channel now. The following video was shared by a woman who's genuinely searching for answers, hoping that someone out there might recognize the signs of what she's dealing with. For a while now, she's noticed a very specific and unsettling pattern involving her dog. Almost every single day, around the same time, her 6-month-old puppy suddenly starts barking intensely at one exact direction in the house. Not just casual barking, but focused, alert, almost defensive barking. What makes this strange is that about 5 minutes later, he suddenly stops, goes completely quiet, and then immediately looks around for her as if checking whether she noticed it too. This routine has repeated itself night after night, always the same direction, always the same behavior. One evening, she was sitting calmly when her dog climbed onto her lap, chewing on a bone, relaxed and content. Suddenly, this happened. Some believe he could be reacting to subtle sounds we can't hear, like changes in air pressure, pipes, or even wildlife outside the walls. But others weren't convinced, especially because of how consistent the timing is and how focused his attention seems to be. As for solutions, viewers offered a wide range of ideas. Some advised checking the space thoroughly for logical explanations, vents, rodents, or structural noises, just to rule them out. A few suggested cleansing the space, whether spiritually or simply by changing the energy in the room, while many stressed one thing above all else: pay attention to the dog. Because whatever he's reacting to it every night, at the same time, in the same place. And until she figures out why, this situation remains deeply unsettling and very much unexplained. This next clip was recorded inside Selma Mansion in Norristown, Pennsylvania, a location that many locals already avoid after dark. The mansion has long been surrounded by rumors, stories of former residents who never really left, reports of unexplained footsteps echoing through empty hallways, doors slamming on their own, and voices heard coming from rooms no one has entered in years. Some say the upper floors are the worst, especially the third floor, where people claim the air suddenly feels heavier and breathing becomes difficult for no reason. On March 29, 2025, a group of urban explorers decided to investigate the mansion for themselves. Despite knowing its reputation, they went in prepared, setting up multiple cameras throughout the house before settling in for the night. While placing equipment in other areas of the mansion, a loud bang suddenly echoed through the building, sharp enough to stop everyone in their tracks. When they checked the footage, they realized the sound came from the bathroom on the third floor, where one of the cameras had been left running. Watch closely. Skeptics argued it could be old pipes, structural shifts, or even wind, but that explanation doesn't easily account for the voice, the pacing of the footsteps, or the very human-sounding breath caught on audio. And considering this happened on the third floor, an area already known for activity, many believe the explorers may have wandered into a space where whatever lingers there doesn't like being watched. So, was this just the mansion settling? Or did Selma Mansion make it very clear that they weren't alone that night? You decide. In this next video, a man believes he's being tormented by something far more sinister than a simple haunting, something he's convinced is a demon living inside his home. And honestly, after seeing everything he's documented, it's hard not to understand why he feels that way. For months now, he says he'll leave the house for work or errands, only to return and find it completely trashed. Tables flipped upside down, chairs thrown across rooms, kitchen equipment scattered across the floor as if someone deliberately went through the house in a rage. One night, while recording a video to explain what he's been experiencing, things suddenly escalated. Watch this.
Guys, so it's been very horrible. I have been experiencing some non-stop shit. You gotta be kidding me. What the shit? What the is that sound? What the They know they not just move. I know that they not just move, y'all. Shit! Oh shit! In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, I ask every demon to leave my house immediately. Immediately. I want every demon to leave this house immediately. Immediately. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Leave my house now. The was that? I swear to God, and guys, this is crazy. Swear to God. What the shit! Holy shit! Oh shit! Holy shit! Holy I'm getting the out of here. No shit.
This isn't subtle movement or quiet noises in the background. When something moves, it moves hard. If it rocks a chair, it does so violently. If it rattles a door, it slams and shakes it with force. Viewers quickly began weighing in with their theories. Some believe this could be a case of a highly aggressive poltergeist feeding off fear and emotional stress. Others argue that the destructive nature, the escalation, and the way the activity responds directly to him speaking points to something darker, possibly a demonic attachment rather than a spirit tied to the house itself. As for solutions, people urged him to stop engaging altogether, to avoid provoking whatever it is. Some warned that labeling it a demon could make things worse, but others believe he may already be past that point. So what do you think? Is this truly a demon, or is there another explanation behind the violence in his home? Now, doll collectors are often misunderstood. To most people, collecting dolls sounds harmless, nostalgic, even comforting. But what many don't realize is that some collectors actively seek out dolls with history. Dolls that were loved intensely, abandoned suddenly, passed through multiple owners, or tied to trauma. In this clip, a woman who openly documents her collection of dolls with deep and unsettling backstories shares what happened after acquiring a particularly infamous one. The doll is known as Raggedy Ann Janet, located in the UK and already surrounded by disturbing rumors long before she ever laid eyes on it. Previous owners had reportedly complained about unexplained noises, object shifting, and an overwhelming feeling of being watched, especially at night. Despite the warnings, she felt drawn to Janet and eventually brought the doll into her home. Almost immediately, she began noticing classic poltergeist-style activity. Objects would move without explanation. Doors creaked open on their own, and the most unsettling part, these events didn't feel random. They felt deliberate, as if something was testing boundaries, pushing limits, and making its presence known. Despite knowing all these, she wanted to confirm.
So Janet's been with us for a few days. Bobby's dropped her off. A few things have been moving around this room lately. Janet, is it you that's doing it? Oh my god, thank you.
For her, the signs were enough. Janet wasn't just another piece in her collection. Something about this doll felt active, aware, and intrusive. And now the question remains, is Janet simply an object carrying residual energy from past owners? Or did bringing her home invite something that was never meant to follow? Either way, the activity surrounding this doll has left viewers deeply unsettled. And until more updates are shared, this case continues to raise an uncomfortable question about how much of the past we unknowingly invite into our homes. This next video is an update from the same man who previously shared how everything in his apartment changed the moment he brought a set of old toys home. Watch closely.
Se sigue escuchando, la verdad ya no soporto estar aquí. Ya no aguanto. ¿Qué será? No hay nada, raza. Esto ya se está saliendo de control, raza. Ya no puedo estar aquí, raza.
As he moves through the apartment trying to locate the source of the noise, a figure is briefly caught on camera. Even though something in him feels like the toys are connected, he wants clearer proof, something undeniable. But viewers say the signs have been there all along. For example, take a look at one of the nights he couldn't sleep at all.
Raza, son las 3 de la mañana, se siguen escuchando muchos ruidos allá afuera. Quieren abrir la puerta, raza. ¿Qué está pasando? Ay, Dios mío. Ay, Dios mío, líbrame del mal. Desde que compré ese espejo, raza. Ay.
What worries him the most is that whatever's in his apartment doesn't seem anchored to a single location. It chooses different areas, almost like it's rotating spots. One night, it was his bedroom. Watch.
Se escucha que están rasguñando abajo de la cama. No hay nadie, raza, a la madre. ¿Qué rollo? está pasando?
Something was scratching under his bed, and while some suggested the mirror near his bed could be acting as a trigger, that theory started to fall apart after this next clip surfaced.
Quieren prender la luz, raza. Esto está saliendo de control, raza. No se escucha que le pegan al tanque allá afuera. Esto se está saliendo mucho de control, raza. No sé qué está pasando, la verdad, raza. Pero a ese tanque le pegan. Ya es el segundo día desde que están pasando estas cosas y alguien que me pueda ayudar, déjenme en los comentarios, por favor. Gente, esto ya se salió de control, gente. Ya no puedo más aquí, gente. Ayuda. ¿Qué quieres? Déjenme en paz. ¿Qué quieres? ¿Quién eres? ¿Quién eres? ¿Qué quieres?
At this point, the activity is no longer subtle. The voice he hears at night is clearer and deeply unsettling. He's reached the point where he locks himself in one part of the apartment at night, afraid of what he might encounter if he walks into another room. And what makes this even more disturbing is the pattern. Whatever's in the apartment seems to choose where it stays. For days it stayed in the kitchen, then it shifted to the laundry room. Now it appears to have claimed the bathroom.
Están tocando la puerta del baño. Desde que compré estos espejos están pasando todas las cosas. Mamá.
He's asking for help, desperately, but most viewers are saying the answer is already right in front of him. Get rid of the dolls. But is it really that simple? Are the dolls the source? Or are they just vessels for something that was already looking for a way in? In this next clip, a woman named Haley set out on what was supposed to be a calm, grounding escape into the Appalachian wilderness, a place known for its beauty, isolation, and deeply rooted folklore. But not long into her walk, something felt off.
I just realized this is like the perfect place to come and sit and smoke. Cause look at this. Sit right here. Hell yeah. It's my view. Y'all, a cigarette right now. I don't even smoke cigarettes, but it warm you up, you know? I'm cold. I felt like there's somebody behind me, but cool. So this is as close as I'm going to get, but y'all can see it's like angled and it goes into the mountain. It doesn't look like it, but it's a little bit more deeper here. My feet would get wet, and these shoes, yeah, no, and it's cold. But yeah, I'm about to head out of here because my feelings been I don't know. It don't feel right now. But yeah, I don't have service. No, this is the worst part about exploring here is when you get like that. When you get the feeling that you're being watched or followed, you can't. It's a little bit of a ways to get back to where you came from. Over there.
If you listen carefully, a voice can be heard quietly saying, "Hey." What makes this moment especially unsettling is that the voice sounds disturbingly similar to Hallie's own. At the time she was recording, she didn't hear it at all. Instead, what she felt was something harder to ignore, a sudden sensation that someone was standing directly behind her. In paranormal folklore, especially in Appalachian legends, encounters like this are often linked to something known as a mimic, entities said to imitate human voices to lure people into responding. That's why many believe the worst thing you can do in situations like this is acknowledge the voice, especially out loud. Responding is believed to give whatever's their permission, or at the very least confirmation that you heard it. Some say mimics rely on familiarity, using your own voice or the voice of someone you trust to lower your guard. Others believe they test boundaries first, watching how you react before escalating, and then there are those who think these encounters aren't meant to chase you, but to mark you. So, was this just an audio coincidence paired with anxiety in an isolated place? Or did Helene narrowly avoid something far more disturbing by trusting her instincts and leaving when she did? I'll leave you to be the judge on this one. The following video was recorded by Kyle, and this time, the activity isn't coming from his basement or his bedroom, it's coming from the attic. Days before recording this clip, Kyle says he began hearing what sounded like children laughing in his basement. Not muffled noise or random creaks, actual laughter. And while that alone unsettled him, things took a far more disturbing turn soon after. One morning, Kyle woke up and discovered his utility room completely torn apart, items thrown around, belongings scattered across the floor, as if someone had gone through the room in a frantic search for something specific. There were no signs of forced entry and no explanation for how it happened. One morning, Kyle walks into his garage, and this happens. Watch closely.
Holy shit. Well, this just happened again. It just happened. I was sitting out here drinking some coffee in my cold ass garage, went inside to go get a refill, and as I was coming out the door, it happened again. It was open and it just slammed shut by itself. Just now. And on top of that, I'm pretty sure I heard a rustling in here. Like right after, I heard something moving around in here. I don't know if anybody saw that video from the other day where this was all a mess. But fuck. I guess I'm just gonna have to get back up in there. It's cold as shit right now, but I need to make sure there's nothing else to find or there's no evidence of intruders or something. I don't know. There's been so much going on in my freaking house lately, man. I'm hearing all these voices and knocking on my door and whatever the hell happened in there, and now this shit's happening again. It's just like things got so quiet over the holidays, and now the activity is just through the freaking roof. What did I do wrong?
This is the same attic where Kyle has previously captured shadowy figures on camera. Figures that appeared briefly and then vanished. It's also the same space where viewers claim they can hear faint whispering voices layered beneath the audio in earlier clips. In paranormal cases, attics are often considered highly active areas. They're rarely used, cut off from daily life, and sit above the rest of the home, a place some believe entities prefer because they're quiet, dark, and undisturbed. When activity centers around an attic, it often raises concern, because it suggests the presence isn't just passing through, it's staying. So if the attic is the source, the question becomes, what's been up there this whole time? Until we get more updates, this remains unsolved. This next video is about Michael Tisdale and his wife, who bought an old house in Louisiana built all the way back in 1896. From the outside, it looked like the kind of place filled with charm and history, the kind of house that feels like it's been watching generations come and go. But from the very first week they moved in, something felt off. Almost every night they'd hear noises coming from upstairs. Heavy footsteps, slow pacing, sometimes what sounded like someone stopping right at the top of the stairs, just standing there. At first, they came up with excuses like old houses settle, wood expands and contracts, and Louisiana's humidity does strange things to buildings that old. But after days of hearing the same activity and getting no rest, Michael decided to stop guessing and actually find out what was happening. One night, he grabbed his phone and headed upstairs to investigate. That's when he recorded this.
Alright. I can't believe I'm fucking doing this right now, but something's making noise up here. I'm gonna go check it out. Okay, yeah, it's alright. Alright. It's just a room, right? Okay. Alright guys, moment of truth. Jesus Christ, okay. Not crazy about this. See if we can get some light. Right? Ooh. Okay. I'm gonna shut this door in case the cat.
If you look closely at the doorway by your left in the footage, something appears that shouldn't be there. Some viewers believe this could be a full-bodied apparition, and considering the house dates back to the late 1800s, people have pointed out that homes from that era often witness deaths inside their walls. Spirits tied to those homes don't always realize time has moved on. They repeat routines, walk familiar paths, and stand in places they once occupied in life. So was this a spirit attached to the house itself, lingering from its long history? Or did Michael and his wife unknowingly move into a space that was already claimed? You decide. In this next video, Nate documents yet another disturbing escalation inside his home. And by this point, what he's dealing with has gone far beyond subtle or questionable activity. For those unfamiliar with his story, Nate has spent months trying to understand what's happening in his house. It started with small things: footsteps when no one else was around, objects shifting places, his dog refusing to go near certain corners. Then came the darker signs: waking up with unexplained scratches on his body, sharp objects being thrown across rooms, and a heavy presence that seems to move through the house with intent. And now, the activity has become impossible to ignore. This time, Nate was upstairs when he suddenly heard a dragging sound. Watch.
Hey guys, I was just upstairs doing some reading and heard walking down here. It sounded like one of these chairs being pulled out, like pulling it out to sit in it, but none of them looked moved. That sound was so distinct. You can hear the dragging on the floor.
What makes this unsettling is that this isn't the first time Nate has heard it. He's reported similar dragging noises coming from the same area of the house, over and over again. In paranormal cases, repeated dragging sounds are often associated with something attempting to announce its presence, not subtly, but physically. Some believe it's a sign of a spirit trying to manipulate its environment, while others suggest it points to something more aggressive. An entity capable of exerting force, moving objects, and making itself known through sound rather than sight. But the sound wasn't the most disturbing part. As Nate started walking toward the kitchen, a woman's voice can be heard saying, "Get in here." Longtime viewers quickly pointed out something chilling. This same female voice has appeared in multiple videos across Nate's timeline. It's been heard whispering, calling out, and now giving instructions. That repetition led many to believe whatever is in the house isn't just making noise, it's attempting communication. At least that's what it seemed like at first. But when you connect this moment with everything else Nate has experienced, the knife throwing, the scratches, the escalating physical aggression, the idea of peaceful communication starts to fall apart. Whatever is speaking doesn't just want attention, it wants control. Until Nate provides more updates, or until whatever this is reveals its full intentions, this case remains unsolved.